Hey everybody, it's Dane Campbell. I'm back here with you at Change with Dane and recording this on the 25th of November 2025. So you've reached the channel where we talk about change, behavior change, and thought change. And the past video, the last week, I talked about some reasons why I think change is important. A bit of a review. I think I've hit on all of those issues in prior videos, but we're at about a half a year of me doing this little project. And for those of you that have jumped in here in the middle, I just wanted to kind of review a few things that you might find helpful, that might motivate you to go back and look at some of the older videos to see what I've talked about in terms of change and how you can change and use that change to find greater peace and success in your life. So today, what I wanted to talk about is 5 things that sometimes makes change rather difficult. And all of these things I have talked about in the past, so you can go back and review more in-depth videos concerning this. But I just wanted to hit on these things really quick once again, so that if you're choosing to step into this process, and if you're choosing to find ways to change your thought and behavior, you'll know some of the barriers or some of the things that people often struggle with at the start of this process. So these are my top 5 reasons why I think change can sometimes be very difficult. And the first one is that we're creatures of habit, right? As people, we like to kind of get in a pathway that gets smoothed out and is clear. And so we know how to do things, and we are comfortable without having to put a lot of conscious thought into getting things done. And being creatures of habit, sometimes that can be a challenge when it comes to change. It will be a lot easier to not get up early in the morning and lace on your shoes and go for that walk than it will be to just stay in bed. It'll be a lot easier to hang on to that thought process that says, oh my gosh, I'm just stupid, when you make a mistake, rather than challenging that idea that you're stupid and that definition and tell yourself something different about making a mistake. So I just want you to understand that as people, we have habits to make our lives a little bit easier, right? We don't want to have conscious thought into every little single thing that we have to perform or do every single day. But you will have to, if you're going to change a thought or if you're going to change a behavior, you'll have to look at it and you'll have to examine it and see how you can put the right energy into making that change. So number 1, creatures of habit, understand that it's how we are, but also understand that you can overcome it. So my number 2 on this list of why change can be difficult is that you might just not know how. You have maybe never made a conscious effort to make some sort of change in your life. You have gone through change, we all do, it's constant, but I'm talking about looking at a behavior or a thought that you really want to make different. And there's a lot of people who've never gone through this process. And so it can be difficult in knowing what the barriers to that process is. It can be difficult to kind of understand how you can reinforce yourself when you find a new behavior that you want to implement. So I've spent several weeks talking about how you can know how to make changes in your life. And this would be a great opportunity, if that's something that you want to do, to step back from the beginning and kind of go through my videos. And please don't laugh. how rough they are. Remember, I'm learning. This was a big change for me. So hopefully you get to see some of the change in the process for myself. So I hope that I'm teaching people and you how to go through the process of change. So I talked about this specifically in a past video, and you can go and look at it a little bit more closely if you choose to. But there may be others around you that don't want you to change. We are all parts of a system. And, you know, if I'm the dad and I cook all the dinners and I decide we're not eating very healthy, there might be pushback from the kids if I start trying to feed them more vegetables. You get my picture? So there are those around us who will, just because it's a part of a system, not because they don't like you or that they don't want you to be successful, but they're creatures of habit too. And that system fights against change. And so there might be things or people in your environment that make change difficult. And knowing about that barrier and sort of how to look at it and work with it might help you overcome that barrier if you're deciding that you want to go through this process. So that's number 3. Others and the system may not wanting you to change. The fourth reason that change can often be difficult is because of ambivalence. You may be sitting on the fence. You may be wondering, how can my examination of what I tell myself when things happen to me, how can that really impact my mood or how I feel about things or what I even do or what my behaviors are? And if you have that ambivalence, change will be very difficult. So this is what I would suggest to you if you're suffering with ambivalence about change. Try making the change and see if it has a positive impact. Try making the change and see what difference comes to you from the world, what different interactions come to you from people in the world, how things might be different, and open things up to greater peace or success. You can't really know unless you do the experiment for yourself. So I would just say, if you're suffering from ambivalence about whether or not you really want to make the change, try doing it and see what the results are. You might surprise yourself. Number 4, ambivalence. Number 5 is change is difficult. If I could equate 2 words together, it would be change and difficult. And the reason being that, again, being creatures of habit, maybe not knowing how, maybe not having support of others, and not understanding what change can really do for you. All of these things stand in the way. And then you have to actually do something different. And if you've never examined your thoughts and considered where they come from, or how, telling yourself a certain thing or calling yourself a certain name, how it impacts you, that can be very difficult in the initial stages. It's not something that we intuitively do. And if you're trying to change a behavior to be more healthy, it's hard to change that schedule. It's hard to fight against the muscle soreness. It's hard to get up in the mornings when it's wet and rainy. And so I acknowledge the fact that change can be hard. And I've also talked a little bit, which I'm going to be talking about more, about changes that are thrust upon us that we have no power over. But we have to go through them because it's just the course of life. And those things can be very, very difficult. So I will tell you, we do hard things as humans. And sometimes it's good to choose to do a hard thing. No, I'm not crazy. I really believe this, that sometimes we have to make ourselves uncomfortable to become what we want to be. We have to feel that uncomfortability sometimes to generate the peace and the success that we want in life. So please don't shy away from hard things. You can do hard things. I can do hard things. As a people, we have to do hard things to get the changes that we want in our life and in this world. So it's okay if it's hard. Hey, thanks for sticking around with me. Appreciate you letting me review these things that I think make change difficult. I hope that just this review will be helpful to you. Maybe you feel like you're spinning out a little bit if you've been trying to go through this process. Maybe me articulating these things will help them be not such a big issue or be so big and scary to you if you're considering making some changes. Please subscribe to my channel. Please like. Please share this if you can, if you think it will help somebody in their life that needs to learn or could benefit from learning about change. I really appreciate you watching, and I look forward to talking with you next week. Please take care of yourself, and I'll talk with you next week.